my name is Casey Wilson with Icon Pools, and today I'm going to show you how to properly test and balance your pool water. First thing we're going to do is start testing. Open up our test kit or test strips. There's a few main chemicals we want to check for. The first one's going to be our free chlorine. What our free chlorine is going to do is our active killer in the water. That's going to be what keeps the water clear, sanitized, and safe for your kids. We want to make sure we have enough chlorine in the water, but obviously we don't want to have too much because it can cause damage to people, humans, pets, that sort of thing. Every test kit's going to be a little bit different. I'm using a Taylor test kit here. So my first reagent, I'm going to add 5 drops. My next one, I'm going to add 5 drops of that as well. That's going to give me my free chlorine reading. I'm also going to be testing the pH at the same time. Add 5 drops of that reagent. And once again, like I said, there are different types of test kits. The strips are very nice for a homeowner to use. But on our Taylor kit, we'll get our reading and we'll kind of compare it to the sun, keeping it out of the light as much as possible. But we got about a 3 and a 7.5, which I would consider perfect pool chemicals. If our pH is high or low with this test kit, we can add in drops to determine whether to take it, how much to add in to take it up or down. Once you're done, if you do have a sample of water, it can just go right back into the pool. No harm done. Your test strips, just throw in a trash can. The next pool chemical that's really important to check is your alkalinity. Alkalinity and pH are kind of brothers with each other. If one's low, the other one's going to be low. If one's high, the other one will more than likely be high as well. With this one, we're going to add in 2 drops of our first reagent. That's essentially a chlorine neutralizer. 5 drops of our next one. We're going to give that a swirl. Color will change once again on this test kit to green. We're going to look for a red reaction here. So as we're adding in, we're going to count our drops. 2, 3, 4, 5. So this pool is sitting at about a 60 on alkalinity. Certainly something we want to adjust. Alkalinity would like to see between an 80 and a 120. One of the last chemicals we'll want to check and keep track of on usually a monthly basis is stabilizer. Stabilizer is a shield for your chlorine. If you don't have stabilizer, we can add in chlorine this morning, and in just a few hours all that chlorine would be out. So think of that stabilizer as a shield. So we want to check to make sure that we have enough of that, but also once again we don't want to have too much, because too much reduces the efficiency of the chlorine itself. So fill up our sample here. We'll wait our 30 seconds. All right, so once we get our sample, we've waited our 30 seconds. Once again on this test kit, we're going to empty this into our small comparator here until our black dot just disappears. It's about right there. We're going to look at it at the side, sitting at about a 35 on stabilizer. This is a salt pool. I usually like to keep my stabilizer at about a 40 on a salt pool. So it could use a little bit, but it's not low enough that I'd be concerned about it. We certainly don't want to see it over 100. We really don't want to see it under a 10, unless we're an indoor pool. Indoor pools do not require stabilizer, as all that's for, once again, is just the sun's UV rays. All right, so now we've checked our pool chemicals. Just as a reminder, our chlorine was a 3, pH was about a 7.5 to a 7.6, alkalinity was a 60, and our stabilizer was sitting about that 35. So really the only chemical that I would adjust today would be our alkalinity. Out in the field and even in the store, I go to this book. It's the Taylor book. It's the best read for new hires in the pool industry, or somebody just wanting a real in-depth, quick read of pool chemistry. I use this book on a daily basis, but I'll use it out here in the field. We're going to estimate this pool to be about 25,000 gallons. We'll go into our book and look up what it says to increase our alkalinity. Use an alkalinity increaser. Because we're at a 60, I want to shoot for about 120, which is the high side of our alkalinity. So we want to raise it 60 parts per million. We're at a 60, we're gonna go to 120. That difference is 60 parts per million. For 25,000 gallons, little quick math, says about 20 pounds. I have 20 pounds here in this container. It's a very fine powder. We will dump it into the pool, getting down low to the pool surface. Then we want to have our pool brush. It's got just a little bit of clumping on the pool floor there. We want to make sure we don't have any chemicals ever sitting on the pool floor. So we want to brush these around until there's no piles left. You would recheck your alkalinity in about 24 hours, see where you're at. As you increase your alkalinity, your pH may rise up just a tad on you, but because we are on the high side of our alkalinity, when we bring our pH down, it'll also bring your alkalinity down just a touch.